Now it's time to welcome back a familiar face. Tantum is here, one of the UK's leading baby experts with nearly 25 years of experience. There aren't many problems and issues that you haven't come across before.
I don't think there's any. I mean, I'd like to be proved wrong, but no.
Ever looked after sextuplets?
No, I haven't actually. That's a challenge.
Very few have. Right, let's go through the headlines, because there are quite a lot of really good headlines actually regarding babies and feeding. And the first one actually is Amanda Holden. Thankfully is back home, and she obviously had a bit of a torrid time in the delivery of Holly Rose, her second daughter, and she says, "My life is complete," besotted with her new baby. She was critical for a few days and lost a lot of blood. In a situation like that, where the birth doesn't quite go to plan, and maybe it's early or there's emergency, does it ever cause issues in terms of the mummy and baby bonding?
I think it is. I mean, I think what happens is you always have in your mind how it's going to go, and if it doesn't quite go according to plan, it's almost like you feel guilty. I know a lot of C-section mums feel very guilty because they haven't done it naturally. But I think as long as the best tip I can say is that when you have your baby first thing in the morning, when they get up first thing in the morning, strip them off just to their nappy and have skin to skin contact and give their first feed in the morning, and just hold them like that for a couple of hours so that it's all nice and lovely, and that will really help with the bonding. Even if you're just bottle feeding, you can actually just hold the baby and it's skin to skin contact. And I think also is that you have a tendency to because you feel guilty, to kind of every single tiny squeak and everything, you're there, which is fine right in the beginning, because obviously you need to nurture your baby because they've gone through a lot of trauma. But I think that to sort of get them into the family way, and also with obviously she's got Lexi, help Lexi understand about the baby and get her involved as well. I think that will really, really help, so that Holly's part of the family rather than, oh, poor, everything that's gone through it, and get over it.
She's got to get her strength back.
Exactly. So lots of rest and lots of naps.
Good advice. Next story is about postnatal depression and how to spot the signs in the first place, and then how to treat it. Just how common is postnatal depression?
It is quite common. I mean, what they're saying is about sort of 10 out of every 100 ladies who have, even if it's not a traumatic birth, if they go through the birth process, they will get some kind of postnatal depression. Now, what happens
roughly
is...
10%?
Yes, but what happens is a lot of mums don't come forward. And so they're all going through the net. What happens is, when you have the baby, obviously for the first 4 weeks, you don't get lots of sleep. And then what happens is, if you're still very teary and you're feeling that you can't control, you're out of control, the baby's crying a lot, and you feel that you don't know what to do next, you feel that you see all these mums with the babies and they're all gooing and cooing and everything's all lovely, and you feel that you're not in that place. When you have your 6-week check, really talk to your GP and talk about postnatal depression, because I think also what mums don't get is that they get the medication and they get the counselling for them. They don't actually get any support with looking after the baby, because usually what happens is, if you've got a baby that's not sleeping and is crying a lot of the time, you think it's because you're a bad mother and you're not listening to your baby, and you don't get any practical support. So I actually had a lady a while ago that who'd asked me to help her, and really, really sadly, before I could help her, she'd already been diagnosed with postnatal depression. She actually took her own life. And so I am really on this big campaign to try and support ladies with postnatal depression, because it is actually one of the only mental illnesses that goes away. It's the chemicals in your brain.
I think also, having, as you plan to be a very active grandmother, don't you, and really be a nana. You're not going to be a gran.
No,
and you're really there. And I think if you've got family support as well, that makes a big difference.
It does. I think if you get somebody that can just be with you, not take the baby away, but just be with you, so you've got your own time, even just going to the shops by yourself, and becoming to know that you're not just a mummy that has a screaming baby, you actually are a person again. And get all the support you can, because there's a big support network, and it does get better. It really does get better.
I bet the whole family's really excited, are they?
They are, honestly. I can't tell you. We're just counting down every day now. We had the baby shower on Saturday, a house full of about 50 girls, and it was just, I can't tell you, everyone. She's got so many clothes and bits and pieces already,
And lots of babysitters.
Yes, lots of babysitters. I'll be on tour, so I'm hoping she's going to come and stay with me wherever I'm in the country and bring the baby down, have a little rest, and so I can look after the baby with her.
Lovely. Well, hopefully sleep won't be an issue for your grandchild. It is for a lot of babies, obviously don't settle into a regular routine. And a study has shown that babies who have problems sleeping are more likely to become toddlers who have restless nights. This is from the States.
Yes.
I mean, in some ways it's not surprising, I suppose, because it's breaking the cycle, isn't it?
It is. I think this is the big thing, is that when you're going through it, you keep thinking, oh, it's okay, you know, when the baby, you're being told all the time, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. And I think unless you actually put an action plan and decide that this is not going to happen anymore, you then all of a sudden you turn around and your baby's 18 months old and standing in the cot screaming.
Or Scotland, if you've sent it.
Well, in Scotland, yeah. In the cot screaming, you know, sort of 2, 4 and 6 in the morning. And if you have a baby under 6 months, really start deciding, right, this week, this is what we're going to do. And start doing it in the daytime as well. Daytime naps, really tackle it then. Watch for the tired signs and put them in their cot and really kind of listen out for what they're doing and soothe them when they need to go, but also take a step back and listen to what they're doing, because they have no confidence in doing it on their own. So I think it's really, really important that you do it as soon as possible.
And we've got an email on that actually from Jenna. My 5-month-old has been in a good sleep routine since he was 8 weeks old, but he's always been resistant to a nap in the day, and I want him to get into a nap in the day before I go back to work. How should I do this?
He'll be tired after about an hour and a half of being awake. So the best thing to do is not to get them overtired. So once they start having tired signs, so staring to space, they'll do a short, sharp cry, they'll start yawning, rubbing their ears and their eyes. Take them into the nursery, and also it's good to have darkness, and that's because it de-stimulates the brain. It makes them feel nice and calm, just like we do. We don't, you know, go to sleep with all the lights on. And then put them in their sleeping bag and try and do the same routine you would do at night time. It's quite funny. Parents that have babies that aren't sleeping either in the day or at night time, they always go down at 7 o'clock at night, because that's what you've told the baby, that's what happens. I need my time at this time of night. So even if they're not sleeping, you've got your bedtime routine, but also in the nap, in the daytime, really keep reassuring the baby that it's fine, but it's okay to go to sleep. And lots of praise when they do, you know, do go to sleep.
Jenna, thank you very much for that. Thank you, Joe, as well. And you're just a mine of information, Linda.
Well,
she is.
I saw you absorbing it all there. I know, yeah.
How old's your youngest?
My youngest one's 15. She's just got GCSEs
this year. Just got in your memory bank of kind of the baby thing, but
yeah.
refresh it a bit.
Yes.
Okay, Linda's going to stay on with us. Thank you very much to Joe, though.